Citi Field in New York. The New York Mets play the Miami Marlins. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by People's United Bank N.A., putting the power of know-how to work for you. By Geico, over 75 years of savings and service. By Verizon, don't miss a moment of Mets baseball on the largest, most reliable 4G LTE network, only from Verizon. By Hospital for Special Surgery, the official hospital of the New York Mets. And by Toyota, see where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. What a beautiful night in New York. What a great week it's been. This weekend, we'll find out who owns New York. For right now, just revel in the conditions. A pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets play the rubber game of their series against the Marlins. Bartolo Colon will take the mound for the Mets tonight, and the 42-year-old Colon has been nothing short of a phenomenon. He has been the Mets' hottest starter coming down the stretch.
Well, he has gone currently on a four-game winning streak. And that's over his last 5 starts. Incredibly, 13-1 against the National League East, 4-1 against these Marlins, 7-3 career. But most importantly, Gare, in this push towards the National League East division flag, he's been the one guy they're going to. He's the one that's been coming up with the W's.
He had a 31-inning scoreless streak before his last start in Atlanta, but he got the victory in that game. Now, it's kind of gone unnoticed because the Mets have been on such a great offensive roll over the last 6 weeks, but the Mets starting pitching other than Colon has taken a step backwards. Early in the season, the Mets lived on their starting pitching from Matt Harvey and Jacob deGrom, John Neese, and Noah Syndergaard, but lately the results for the other starters not named Bartolo Colon have not been what the Mets would have expected. And again, it's kind of gone below the radar because the team has been so good offensively, but there are the numbers. Even with Colon's great stretch, their ERA over the last 6 weeks, 4.09 for the starters, and you wonder, is this anything the Mets need to be concerned about?
Well, you know, basically this is a young starting rotation. You got a lot of guys here in their first or second season. They're finding out what it's like. They're hitting speed at the speed bump. I remember Ron Darling mentioning to us when he was in his first and second year, he hit the speed bump in August, but got his second wind in September. But these pitchers are on pitch counts. Harvey's a whole different ball of wax right there. But Syndergaard responded to the skip of the turn in the rotation. deGrom's going to miss a turn. I think he's a little weary. Let's see how hopefully that'll help him in his next start.
So the Mets will continue to massage their rotation as we go down the stretch of the season and try and get it the most they can out of those young starters while keeping them ready for October. It's the Mets and the Marlins from Citi Field. All the action coming your way on SNY. By Empire City Casino, Manhattan's closest casino. Your luck starts here. And by Fidelis Care, quality health coverage. It's our mission. You can place a deposit on your 2016 full or partial ticket plan today and guarantee yourself access to 2015 postseason tickets. Purchase tickets online at Mets.com/deposits. Well, you see the numbers for Bartolo Colon. He has been completely dominant against the Mets division. Against the rest of the major leagues, well, not so much. And he'll face a division rival tonight as he takes on the Marlins. That's all presented by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Enter promo code NYM for free entry. A simple flip. How about behind the back, Bartolo? Come on. They'll try and reduce the Mets' magic number tonight. Colon's first pitch is coming right up. The Marlins beat the Mets 2 out of 3 in Miami a week and a half ago and trying to do the same. D. Gordon, who has more hits against the Mets this season than any player has ever had in a season, will lead things off. And against Bartolo Colon.
The man of the hour on a 4-game winning streak. We mentioned that. His dominance in division this year. 13-1. There's his Jeep numbers. Can't forget the Jeep numbers. They're very important. And the defense for the Mets is brought to you by Lexus. Cespedes moves over to left. Lagares with the left-hander out in center. Kadire in right. It's a right-handed buffet against the left-hander.
A smorgasbord, I think is what you were trying to say.
All those
bidding for his 15th win of the year. Trying to beat the Marlins for the 5th time this season. He'll have to get through D. Gordon first. And his first pitch of the night is fouled off, and we're underway. Gordon had a 4-hit night last night, including a 2-run homer. Now has 33 hits against the Mets this year. That's the most hits one player has ever had against the Mets in their 54-year history.
He surpassed Curt Flood with the 4 hits last night.
Flores to his left, the spinorama, and at least for the first inning, no hits for Gordon tonight.
Curt Flood had the most. That record was from 1963. Curt Flood, of course, the All-Star center fielder for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Most of the players with the biggest hit totals against the Mets before D. Gordon were from the early 60s, when the Mets did not have a whole lot of success. 3 times in their first 5 years, the Mets lost 110 or more. Christian Yelich up second, 3 for 9 in the series.
Yelich had himself 3 hits last night, 2 runs and 2 RBIs. A nice night.
We mentioned Colon's success against the Marlins. The most remarkable part of the whole thing is he's made 5 starts against Miami this year and hasn't walked a single batter. 37 2/3 innings. And as soon as I say that, he falls behind Yelich 3-0.
He'll come back and get him, or he'll make him put it in play.
You see those overall numbers this year. Martin Prado hitting 3rd in the order on deck. There's a strike to Yelich.
Well, Colon has 22 walks this year in 176 2/3, 5 intentional. So really, 17 walks.
Yelich pulls it. Nice snag by Campbell. 2 men down. Campbell getting a rare start at first base, with the Marlins starting a left-hander, and he handled that sharp one-hopper nicely.
A lot of young pitchers today should take a cue from Bartolo. Not overpowering. 3-1. Put it in play. I got 8 gloves out here. It'll find one. Maybe it'll find one. See so many pitchers today nibbling 3-1 sliders. Bartolo just is here. I got 8 guys. Let's do it.
And sometimes when he says here, he gets hit hard.
Yes.
But that hasn't happened in a while. He had a really vicious midseason slump when he was getting the ball in the middle of the plate and he was giving up rockets. But boy, he has really refined himself after doing a lot of side work, more than usual, to get himself right. He gets ahead on Martin Prado 0-2. He came within an inning and 2/3 of matching the Mets club record for consecutive scoreless innings. R.A. Dickey set that mark 3 years ago. It's Roberto Clemente Day across baseball today. A little flare out into shallow right. On comes Kadire to dive, and he held on, and he made the catch. Michael Kadire, a tremendous play. He takes a base hit away from Martin Prado. Hit the ground, held it up, and he held on.
Well done. And a round of applause from the starting pitcher.
Terrific play.
Well, they say this is a young man's game. 36-year-old Kadire makes a beautiful play.
He's just a youngster out there compared to Cologne.
Compared to us.
Well, we don't want to compare him to us. Your Geico Mets starting lineup tonight, an all right-hand hitting affair against the rookie left-hander Adam Conley. And Juan Lagares takes a strike.
Well, Conley had a good 9-win season in AAA. This is his 12th appearance, 8th start. He has one relief appearance against the Mets this year. And he's got his socks showing. I'll say.
That's a lot of sock. These soccer style socks. And Lagares out on 3 pitches, 95 miles an hour from Conley for the first out.
And the Marlin defense brought to you by Coors Light. And Suzuki switches over to left field. Ozuna in right with the big strong arm. And D. Gordon, of course, all-star second baseman. Realmuto behind the plate.
So Solano at shortstop. Danny Echeverria still battling a hamstring. Solano is second baseman by trade, filling in at short tonight. Here's David Wright. David has 3 doubles in this series and 7 at bats.
It's interesting. I'm looking over this Met lineup, and Flores has the most starts, 120 starts. It would be the 120th start for Wilmer. David only his 26th.
Wright and Darno both missed such substantial time earlier this year.
Everybody, Kadire missed time. Campbell was sent down. Uribe a late acquisition. Cespedes a late acquisition.
Wright pops one up. Gordon has the call, and there are 2 out.
Well,
now Yoenis Cespedes.
got the canary on.
Got the parakeet sleeve back on.
Canary in the coal mine. Put you to sleep.
Well, last night he went without the sleeve, and Cespedes went 0 for 4 after being hit by a pitch his first time up.
Yes, he got plunked.
That's made an attempt at retaliating when Eric Goodell threw a pitch behind Tom Kohler and missed him.
Well, we are being presumptuous. I really do feel that Kohler hit Cespedes on purpose, and that's all fair. Hit him in the fanny, and Goodell later in the game with Kohler squared around the bunt, threw it behind him, missed him, and got immediately warned, and that was the end of that.
Conley quickly ahead on Cespedes, 0-2.
Well, if you're going to drill someone, you hit him in the fanny. And I thought that Cespedes handled that well. Goodell right here. It's too bad he missed him.
And Cespedes down on the high fastball, and a very impressive first inning from Adam Conley. He's come out throwing hard. 1-2-3 with a couple of strikeouts. No score after 1. To the postseason is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcasts, and more. Download MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet now. Justin Bour leading off in the second inning. Bour had a big night last night with 3 hits and 2 RBIs.
He's a dangerous hitter. He can be pitched to. He struck out twice last night, but he's a big, strong guy. And you make a mistake, you can be rubbing up a new one.
See his numbers against the Mets this year, very impressive, and Cologne keeps it away from him. And for the second time in the first 4 batters, Cologne falls behind 3-0.
He hit the big home run off of Clippard down in that 3-game series in Miami. Late 8th inning.
Let me ask you a question, Keith, regarding what we showed in the last inning about the tit for tat with Cespedes getting hit and Goodell missing Kohler last night with Marcell Ozuna on deck. Bour hits one out to center field, and Lagares right there. When you try to retaliate the way Goodell apparently did, is that it? Or do you get a second crack at retaliating according to the etiquette of the game?
Well, he was warned, so then you can't.
And what about tonight?
I think you let it go. I think you let it go. You sent a message to Kohler, and I always felt you should hit the pitcher, not their best hitter. What did the best hitter have to do? Nothing to do with it. So drill the pitcher.
Said like a true hitter.
And yeah, that ball hurts, you know. It hurts. But I think it's over and done with now. I thought Cespedes could have ignited the situation by charging the mound. All Met fans remember Darryl hated to be hit, and he would always charge the mound, and we'd be in a fight.
You don't see much mound charging anymore.
No. So I remember one game in particular against the Cubs in '84. I was the big guy, and Ed Lynch hit someone, I forget who. We're playing in Chicago, doubleheader, and late August in this in that it was a stretch run, and the second game started. Jim Fry had Scott Sanderson started, hit me the first inning. I dodged 4 pitches. He walked me. He didn't hit me. But he tried to.
Ozuna laces one to left, and it's over Cespedes' head. And Ozuna's going to settle for a single, not going to challenge Cespedes' arm. And he gets it in from the wall to second base on the fly.
Well,
hit hard, thrown hard. It's a single.
Right down the pipe, mistake by Cologne, and wisely right here, Cespedes knows he can't get it. Plays it off the wall, holds him to a single. And Ozuna chases the feet there, open stance, but he strides in. But he's very quick inside. He likes the ball middle in. He's a fast ball hitter. Chases a lot of bad breaking balls. And I don't need a computer to relay that to the fans out there.
Here's JT Realmuto, 2 for 7 in this series. And he takes a strike from Cologne. So your point is that it's over and done with, that we cannot expect any more.
No, it's over and done.
This is the last game of the year between the Mets and the Marlins.
And it wouldn't matter if they had, 17 more.
In the air to center, and Lagares has it lined up. Back to tag is Ozuna, but not going to test Lagares' arm.
Gary, the Met team here and this Marlin team, they're a professional team. They hustle, they don't hot dog. The Mets of the Reyes era aggravated a lot of teams. So then that can get bad blood, where teams don't like each other or don't like a specific couple players on a team, and pitchers that could be, you can be mean and go after guys. But I don't sense any bad blood between these two teams. And if any of the bad blood, it's about towards the Nationals. I don't think the Nationals are a well-liked team in the division.
Here's Ichiro Suzuki, who has more hits and at-bats against Cologne than any player.
We go around the league here. We're playing in division in September. You hear the whispers as we've traveled around Atlanta, Phillies. The Nationals kind of have a little bit of arrogance about them. 86 Mets did too. So I don't really take much stock in that, to be honest with you. If you're cocky and you're good, so what?
So just to circle back, though, Kohler hit Cespedes last night because he's hot,
yes,
or because he styled the night before?
That I can't answer. Maybe both. There was a time where if you were red hot, I mean, scalding hot like Cespedes been, they hit you. I don't think it was more so maybe in the 60s. But that's certainly not in today's game, that's for sure.
He threw out a base hit off the bench last night. Runner goes, pitch inside. Darno's throw is right on the money. Ooh. And Ozuna goes tripping past the bag as he gets tagged out. Darno threw out 2 potential base stealers last night. That might have been the best throw he's made all year.
Well, he's throwing much better the last week. Throwing much better.
I mean, that was a seed. And Flores had an easy time putting the tag on the stumbling Ozuna. What a terrible slide.
All you kids, don't slide like that. He's lucky he didn't hurt himself.
Home second inning. Juan Uribe leads off against Adam Conley and takes a fastball for a strike. Uribe playing second base tonight. Part of the all right hand batting lineup for the Mets, and why not? Uribe hitting .282 against lefties this year with 6 of his 13 home runs.
That is Juan's 5th start at second base. He's had 22 at third.
Conley is throwing much harder than he normally does. His average fastball velocity this year has been 91, and he's come out throwing 95 and 96 tonight.
Well, he's not a guy that goes deep into games. If you look at his 7 starts, the most he's gone is 6. A lot of 5-inning stints. So I don't imagine that he'll be around for the 3rd time through the order.
25-year-old out of Washington State, 2nd-round pick by the Marlins in 2011.
Cougar.
2-2 to Uribe with Darno and Kadire to follow. Conley joined the rotation for the Marlins in mid-August. He's made 6 starts since then. And Uribe fouls one off the right side. That'll go out of play. Marlins lost Henderson Alvarez for the season. They traded away Dan Herron. They have been without Jose Fernandez for most of the season, so they've had to work some rookies into their rotation. And the Mets seeing the second rookie left-hander they faced in this series. They faced Justin Nicolino on Monday night, and he didn't do badly. Full count to Uribe.
Mets are 19-13 against left-handers on this season.
8th pitch of the at-bat coming. And Uribe rifles one toward the middle. D. Gordon down to get it. 1 out.
Almost
Gordon
killed a
having
pitcher.
a Gold Glove caliber season.
Almost killed Conley. Watch him do the stutter step here.
Whoa. That's a little flinch.
Ball was ripped. Nice play by D.
He's beaten the Mets with his bat. He's beaten the Mets with his glove. Last night he even showed off some power. Here's Travis d'Arnaud. Travis has been the Mets' best hitter against left-handers this year. He's now hitting .424 against left-handers with 4 of his 12 home runs.
1 for 4 last night with an RBI. '52nd start, 41 RBIs in 52 starts. Not too shabby.
Conley runs one inside, 2-1.
That's around 120 RBI season if you can keep it up.
Nationals have jumped ahead of the Phillies 1-0 in the second. Nationals have won 3 straight. And out to right. Ozuna's right there. 2 out. Well, we saw Travis d'Arnaud in the last half inning gun down Marcell Ozuna at second. He's had quite a last couple of days throwing the baseball.
You always look for the footwork and the release, any extra motion in the release. Good footwork, no wiggle of the wrist. A lot of catchers do that. Just get it to your ear and throw it. So his footwork is much improved. I'm sure Bob Guerin's had a lot to do with that. Bob Guerin, of course, the bench coach for the Mets and a former catcher himself.
A ball and a strike to Michael Kadire, who's 0 for 4 in this series. There's Bob, who serves as the Mets catching instructor. Grounded to short, and Solano's got the short hop and throws out Kadire. So it's 6 up and 6 down for Adam Connolly to start his night. Mets and Marlins, no score after 2. Compromised Audi A3 sedan. Third inning, no score. Ichiro Suzuki, who was at the plate when Marcell Ozuna was caught stealing to end the second, gets a fresh turn at bat. And he flies one out to right center. And Lagares eases back. One out. That'll work for Lagares early in this game. That's Colon, though, using the big part of the ballpark.
There's a guy that's not throwing it through a brick wall and puts it in play. Pitches to contact.
Here's Donovan Solano. Solano the last 2 years got substantial time at second base for the Marlins, but with the acquisition of D. Gordon, his position was rendered obsolete. So he spent a lot of this year in the minors. He's only had 70 big league at bats this year.
Well, I think Toronto got angry with that loss last night in Atlanta. They're off to a quick start. 4-1 in the top of the second. Toronto. It's very funny, right? We left Atlanta saying, oh my gosh, Toronto's coming into town after us, after the Mets, and and it turns out the Braves beat them.
That's the way it works in this game.
Yep.
Flores throws out Solano, 2 out. The most remarkable part of that was the way the Braves bullpen pitched last night. Well, a sizable contingent from Fairfield University is here tonight, including their fine basketball coach Sidney Johnson, the former Princeton star. The Fairfield Stag threw out the first pitch tonight. There's Adam Conley, who's 3 for 11 in the big leagues, so he's hitting .273, which any pitcher would be proud of.
Who's that? CB Buckner behind the plate?
That is CB. Good buddy. And Colon ahead on his opposite number, 1 and 2. Mets are encouraging fans to arrive early for this weekend's Subway Series games at Citi Field. Capacity crowds expected. We recommend that fans take public transportation. All gates will open 2 hours prior to the scheduled first pitch. 1-2 coming. And Conley reaches for it and fouls it off. I'm being told that the Stag
is.
His name is Lucas. Lucas the Stag.
Okay.
I wonder if he got to meet Duda before the game. Strike 3 called. 2-seamer by Colon to pick up his first strikeout of the night. So Colon's faced the minimum through the first 3. Still no score at Citi Field. To you by Twisted Tea, the hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea. Last night they had one of those games. The Rockies and the Dodgers played 16 innings and used a major league record 58 players, 24 pitchers. The Rockies used 13 pitchers, which is also a major league record, and they won the ball game. Nolan Arenado hit a home run in the top of the 16th.
So the Mets remain a half game, one game in the loss column behind the Dodgers for the better record for home field advantage in the playoffs. Mets got to get the division flag first.
Wilmer Flores leads off the home third.
16 home runs for Wilmer. Got that hot start on the home runs.
Facing the lefty Adam Conley, who's yet to allow a base runner. That's Flores hitting 7th tonight. Eric Campbell is batting 8th.
Flores only 19 walks on the season, and that's over 459 ABs.
And 2 of those came in the same game on Monday night.
Well, you see his on-base percentage at 300. That's not going to make Mr. Alderson happy, but the 16 home runs and 59 RBIs will make Sandy very happy.
Well, that 300 on-base percentage is the highest it's been all year. So he's been moving up in that department. Well, really ever since the non-trade right before the deadline. Wilmer has been putting up much bigger numbers.
It's been a very unsettling year. I think a learning year for Wilmer. A lot put on him early in the year, Gary. Putting him at shortstop where I felt he was uncomfortable, doing the best he could. And he hit well, but I think far more comfortable now. He's playing shortstop and playing a lot better shortstop, but very uneasy, you could tell early in the year.
Popped up in foul ground, and Moore should have room. Yeah, Flores retired one away. Well, it's certainly a question that Terry Collins is going to have to figure out when he gets to postseason. Do you go for the bat of Flores or the glove of Tejada, or some combination?
Well, you've always got the option of, to me, Gary, I would go with the bat, and then if you have a lead late, get Tejada in for defense.
Or you could play Tejada, and against the lefty, maybe play Flores at second base. Although he's been playing Juan Uribe there lately against the lefty.
Sure, there's been more options for Terry Collins since the moves that Sandy made at the break. I mean, excuse me, at the deadline. The acquisition of Johnson and Uribe, 2 veterans, a left and a right-hand hitter, both infielders. Gave Terry, and he's really mixed and matched well and kept all of his players active.
And the return of David Wright has changed that dynamic too, as Campbell breaks his bat and throws it foul. That great play by the ball boy. Did he come up with that?
Yes, he did. Nice.
That was an outstanding backhand catch. Did you guys get that on video? That was superb.
The Mets have the biggest ball boys in the league. That bat was shattered.
Prado just making sure he didn't get hit by the bat. Meanwhile, the ball boy keeping his eye on the ball, playing the carom off the tarp with the gorgeous lunging backhand grab.
Very nice.
That was outstanding. That may be the ball boy play of the year. Campbell, fresh bat in hand. Behind in the count, 1-2. And he pulls that one down to Prado. Doesn't have to worry about avoiding flying bats. And he makes the play for the second out. So Conley keeps rolling, 8 up and 8 down. And now he'll take on the big swinging Bartolo Colon. I think Bart gets a bigger hand when he comes to the plate than he does when he takes the mound. In his last start in Atlanta, he had a bullet single to center field and drove in a run. His 8th hit and his 4th RBI of the year, as he continues to put up career highs in all offensive categories. And then sometimes he's just not inclined to swing.
Bartolo's going to win another year, 15 wins. Oh, well, he got fooled there. Don't think he's not setting him up here. This at bat means nothing. No one's on base.
Unless he hits it out of the ballpark. he took his big cut, and the crowd oohing and eyeing over the foul ball. I think Bart just cracks himself up like he does everybody else.
He's enjoying himself. 42 years of age. I would too, playing in the big leagues, competing. He's going to win 15+ games again this year.
But there's the heart of a lion inside him. The fact that he was embarrassed offensively last year, he went to work and made himself a better offensive player, and the results have shown. Perfect 3 innings for Adam Conley and no score after 3.
He made himself a better bunter too.
Qualify for the postseason. Should Bartolo Colon be in the starting rotation for the postseason? What is your thoughts at the hashtag SNY tweet? Let us know.
Very good question. I'm very anxious to see what Met Nation comes up with.
Well, particularly in light of the numbers that we showed earlier tonight about how hot Colon has been and how relatively cold the rest of the rotation has been coming down the stretch of the season.
And coming down the stretch.
We have some lost combs, by the way.
Oh, goodness.
Left over from last night. Nobody bothered to clean up the combs.
I don't think Jacob uses combs with that mop.
No, you'd never get a comb through that.
No, never. The only time you do it is when you use the conditioner and your hair is wet and you run the comb through it.
I say that as someone who once had long hair. There is no way that you would use a comb on that kind of mop.
Was your hair straight?
My hair was wavy straight. Longer than that. But you could never get a comb through it. You have to use a brush.
You drove Lynn wild. I know it.
D. Gordon slaps one to short. Flores circles in and makes the play for the first down. So Colon's retired Gordon twice. Well, we took out the Colon numbers to show you what the rotation has done since August 7th. And you see they were just fantastic before that. And they've been, only so-so since then, other than Colon.
Well, an interesting point of consideration, too, about Colon is in this nice little run in the stretch here is that he's back in familiar turf where he's pitched so well in division gear.
Well, so that raises the question, in the postseason when he will not be facing any of these weaker National League East teams. And we showed you his numbers before against everybody else. Does that lessen his case for, say, starting in the series against the Dodgers if it comes to that?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what we're throwing this out to you folks, because we know you're going to tweet in here about the question, should Bart be in the rotation? But the most important thing is what Terry's going to decide, Sandy Alderson, what their decisions are going to be on who the starting four are going to be going ahead.
Pulled toward the hole. The diving stop by Campbell from his knees, and Colon gets over to cover. Didn't look like Campbell was going to be there, but then he launched himself and was able to make the play.
And Bartolo gets over and covers. Nice play, Eric. Eric saying, okay, you can make the behind the back toss to me, Bartolo. In Miami, I'll make a play like that. It's my turn. Very nice.
That was Campbell's last start the night Colon made that behind the back play, and this is a terrific play by Campbell.
So look at that. If you're quick off the mound, you can beat anybody. Yelich runs well.
Been a lot of defense to applaud so far tonight for the Mets. Two nice plays by Campbell, one by Kadire in right field. Here's Prado, who was robbed by Kadire his first time up.
And always defense is overlooked. This Met club, since they've turned it on, and this run to the flag here, they've played great defense collectively.
Hit in the air, deep left field. Back goes Cespedes, takes a look, and that's gone off the second deck. Martin Prado with his 8th home run of the year hits one a long way to break the ice in this game and give the Marlins a 1-0 lead.
Well, mistake by Bartolo. Prado, an up hitter, upstairs hitter, and got too much of the middle of the plate, and he crushed it.
He's had some big hits against the Mets. He had the 2 walk-offs in Miami in that last series, but I'm not sure I've ever seen Prado hit one as far as he just hit that ball. Off the second deck out toward left center.
Right down the pipe, belt high, and an effortless swing. They go the farthest when you swing effortlessly.
That sounds counterintuitive. Moore hits one out to left center. This one's playable for Cespedes, and that retires the side. But the Marlins break in front on Martin Prado's 8th home run of the year. 1-0 Miami. We're celebrating 10 years of Mets baseball on SNY. After the break, we'll go back and relive another one of the thrilling moments from the past. What happened on September 18th, 2006, brought to you by Pepsi. To left field, Floyd. And after running roughshod over the National League, the Mets have a title to show for it. 2006 National League East champions. Willie Randolph in his second season as a Major League manager. 11 job interviews, never got a sniff. Omar Minaya took a chance, and it has paid off handsomely.
Well, like Willie has said many times, that's their loss that they did not get him as a manager. Mets game.
On the way to the clubhouse, National League Eastern Division champion. Well, that was the last time 9 years ago. Earlier today, fans were asked to tweet their memories to @SNY TV using hashtag SNY10 years. Today's tweet from Jason. Look of joy on Wright and Reyes. I don't think that's something that David Wright has forgotten since then either.
Well, you think that you got a team that you're going to continue to win, and they don't come so easy, do they, Gary?
The Mets thought they were going to be perennially around the postseason. They came close the next 2 years, but have not been back since that 2006 season, and hoping to get there this year. Thanks for the shout out. Second time through the batting order for Adam Conley, who now has a 1-0 lead. He's been perfect through the first 3. Juan Lagares leads off the 4th and takes ball 1 inside. Lagares struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. Juan has only had 13 September at bats, and he's 6 for 13. So many of these Mets players, less playing time has meant more production. 2-0. And you talked about the defense the last inning, and I think that's true there too, as guys have had less of an individual burden placed on them. I think that's sharpened the defense as well.
I look at the infield defense, and this was a team that was really had a hard time turning double plays, and they're turning 2 now. I mean, you've got to, it's the big leagues. You get a ball on the ground, you've got to turn that pair.
Here's a strike. Well, early in the season, they had so many guys playing out of position. I mean, because they were so intent on playing Flores at short, they used Tejada at third. He didn't know how to play third base. Now you've got guys playing where they're supposed to be playing. Lagares pops one up. And Moore has plenty of room. 10 up and 10 down for Adam Conley. So the rookie left-hander has been more than impressive. He's got the first out in the 4th. They're in the 4th inning in Philadelphia as well. Nationals 1, Phillies 0. Here's David Wright, who popped up his first time up. Well, Adam Conley's wife and child are here today. Got the miniature Conley 61 jersey.
Wright drives one deep left field, headed back toward the wall. Ichiro on the track, can't get it. Right on his way to second, and he'll pull in with yet another double. Well, the 10-time Gold Glover Ichiro Suzuki at age 41 came close, but that was a rocket off the bat of David Wright. His 4th double in 3 games in this series.
Well, Suzuki, a very polished outfielder, may have lost a step in his old age. I think going back around 5, 6, 7 more years, he makes that play just off the, actually he missed it off the thumb side of his glove. David here, let's see, get it towards the end. I believe he did.
So the Mets have their first base runner of the night, a 1-out double for Wright, after Conley had retired the first 10, and now he'll have to pitch from the stretch for the first time in this game as he faces Yoenis Cespedes with the tying run at second. Big cut by Cespedes.
Ooh. David running out of the box there, keeping his eye on it.
Well, David had 1 double all season before this series. He has 4 doubles in 3 games in this series against the Marlins. Uribe waiting on deck. Mets last night were just 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position. They had all sorts of chances despite being beaten handily in last night's game. Cespedes hits it out to Wright. Ozuna drifting back. Wright tagging. Ozuna's got it, and Wright stays put against Ozuna's strong arm.
Oh, I think you could challenge that. That was deep enough. 1 out, play it safe. It's not like you're going to third base for a sacrifice fly.
Yeah, I think
it's going to score you.
If it's nobody out, I think you go.
Exactly. Nobody out, you go.
So 2 out. Now Uribe was robbed of a hit on a scorcher up the middle that D. Gordon handled his first time up. And that's just added a run. They lead the Phillies 2-0 in the 4th. So perhaps Washington is not going to completely hand this to the Mets. Right. They're going to have to do it themselves.
Make them work.
And the Mets obviously have 3 very tough games coming up this weekend against the Yankees. While the Nationals play the Marlins again, right, this weekend?
4.
You're going to have to tune around this weekend. We'll have you on Pix 11 on Friday night. Fox has the game Saturday afternoon. ESPN Sunday night, of course. Post game, every game on SNY. The pitching matchups have been announced. Steven Matz will go Friday night for the Mets against Masahiro Tanaka, who has been lately by far the Yankees' best starter. Saturday afternoon, it's Noah Syndergaard against Michael Pineda, and then Sunday night, Matt Harvey, CC Sabathia. It'll be interesting watching Matz in that cauldron Friday night. Uribe gets under one, and Suzuki waiting for it to come down. That retires the side. David Wright picks up the Mets' first hit, but the Marlins lead 1-0 after 4. Team Prado with a long home run off Bartolo Colon in the 4th inning, the only run, and the Marlins have a 1-0 lead as we go to the 5th. Marcell Ozuna had the first hit against Colon, a rocket off the left field fence that turned into a single because Cespedes played it quickly and Ozuna took no chances. Then Ozuna was caught stealing. He lifts this one to right center. Another chance for Lagares, who's been busy. One pitch, 1 out. 4th put out already for Lagares. So 1 out and nobody on. Now JT Realmuto, he flying to center his first time up. What do you think of Realmuto?
I haven't seen enough of him. He's not going to hit for power. I don't think he's a 300 hitter, Gary. It's a little bit too early to assess, but I think he's more along a platoon line. If you can get a left-handed hitting catcher, you can platoon with him.
I know they love his defense and his leadership skills. He's hit 9 home runs in a little under 400 at bats.
In a very big ballpark.
Right. Well, he took over for Jared Saltalamacchia. They ate a big contract when they got rid of Saltalamacchia early in the season. He hits this one deep down the left field line. Back toward the corner goes Cespedes, right at the wall, and it's out of here. JT Realmuto on cue hits his 10th home run of the year, and the Marlins now have a 2-0 lead. So a couple of solo home runs off Colon. This one coming on an 0-2 pitch.
Well, as we said, this Marlin team has not dialed it in. They are a game bunch. This was a moonshot here. Didn't go very far because he got under it, but it carried. Cespedes ran out of room.
Go to the right part of the ballpark, right down the line, and able to get it over the orange line and into the seats. Now Ichiro Suzuki takes a strike. Don't you want a souvenir?
You were in Chicago?
I guess not. Can you imagine? Just think back. It's slapped to shortstop, and Flores hurries in. Close play, but he gets Ichiro by a stride for the second out. Can you imagine when we were kids, if you had caught a ball, could you ever imagine throwing it back?
No. Definitely not. I never had a ball come close to me in all my years. How about you?
I caught one foul ball in all my years of going to games as a fan. But I mean, just the thought of throwing the ball back is so antithetical to, you know, I mean, we used to relish having a ball hit to us. Here's Donovan Solano, who grounded to short his first time up. I mean, it wasn't the ball's fault that Colon gave up a home run.
Hey, that was a Major League Baseball.
It's not tainted. I mean, it was kind of cute when the bleacher bums at Wrigley Field started doing that. Now you see it everywhere. I guess imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
I was never taught to follow the leader here.
Well, clearly. We must drive our boss crazy.
Which one?
All of them. Solano grounded to short his first time, and Colon bounces that one. 2-2. Colon working at a very low pitch count tonight. No walks, one strikeout, but 2 home runs allowed. And now Solano hits one to right center. That's going to fall for a hit and go all the way back to the wall. Solano digging for second, takes a turn and will hold on there with a 2-out double. So there's the 4th hit against Colon.
Well, nice hitting by Solano, going with the slider, with the old cutter, and flips the order now. He gets the pitcher up. Definitely a slider, not much of a slider.
So the pitcher Conley will come up with 2 out and a runner at second. Conley took a call third strike his first time up. He lines one into center field, a base hit. Solano's going to try and score. Here comes the throw by Lagares on a hop. Darno with the tag, and Solano's out by a mile. Lenny Harris, the Marlins third base coach, testing the arm of Juan Lagares, and that's as good a throw as Juan has made in a long, long time.
Why not try it with 2 outs? And Lagares, more than anything, charged this ball beautifully. Gets in, cuts the distance down on his throw by that great charge, shallow center. Beautiful one hop for the catcher.
He's battled a bad elbow at times this year, but that looked like a outfielder with a healthy arm. 2-0 Marlins. the community with the SNY Play Ball program, supporting local football leagues with grants, equipment donations, clinics, and Jets game experiences. Find out more about SNY's Play Ball Football Week on Geico Sports Night tonight at 10:30 only on SNY. We go to the bottom of the fifth, 2-0 Miami. Let's check out tonight's Verizon trivia question. Who holds the major league record for most consecutive seasons with 200 or more innings pitched?
That's going to have to go back. That's going to go back a bit.
I mean, you would think it would be someone like Cy Young or Grover Cleveland Alexander, right?
Noli, but he never got hurt. He never hurt his arm.
That's true. He pitched 27 years. Travis d'Arnaud leads off the home fifth against Adam Conley. d'Arnaud lined out to right field his first time up. In Philadelphia, Darren Ruff just did a 2-run homer off Gio Gonzalez, and the Phillies tied up the Nats 2-2 in the fourth.
Right now, Conley's very effective upstairs. He's been throwing predominant fastballs. You're going to get a fastball to hit, but you've got to make him get it down. He's been throwing right above the letters. Bring the sights down. d'Arnaud's been doing a lot of swinging and falling down that back knee of late. Last 2 or 3 nights.
Do you think that's a consequence of trying to hit more home runs?
No, I don't think so. I don't see him over swinging at all.
So what causes him to go down?
I don't know. I'm going to talk to him Friday. Merv tends to do it once in a while, but d'Arnaud's been doing it quite a bit lately. Yeah, there's that pitch up there, Gary. You got to lay off. d'Arnaud asking if that was a strike from home plate umpire C.B. Buckner.
Well, the Mets put together an all right-hand hitting lineup against Adam Conley to try and take advantage of the left-hander, but this is something Conley has seen a lot of in his brief big league career, as d'Arnaud strikes out on the pitch away. That's the 4th strikeout for Conley.
We'll look at both pitchers here. It's Conley on the left-hander. This is a windup now. You think he looks like he's taking a stretch. Very interesting. And watch the front foot where it steps. Now Bartolo takes a step towards first base. But watch where he steps. Same spot, but not. You got Conley, who's 6'3", a little long-legged, got a longer stride.
It's almost by side-saddling it like that, he's taken away half his windup.
It's hardly anyone. It's very, very compact.
It was Don Larson who first started that semi-no windup delivery, as they referred to it at the time. That's lined to the left, a base hit for Kadire.
Where was that fastball, Gary?
Down.
Thank you. Thank you.
Second hit for the Mets against Conley.
Make this guy get it down, see it, and take a nice rip.
Well, you've made the comment many times that, you know, it used to be the most right-hand hitters were high ball hitters, but that has changed. Now everybody seems to be a low ball hitter.
Right, it's like watching a left-hand hitter in the mirror.
Here's Flores, who fouled out to first base his first time up. Tying run at the plate in a 2-0 game. He takes the slider inside, ball 1.
Good, nice hitting right there. Eye on the ball. Can't hit what you don't see, so obviously.
It's nice to see Michael back healthy. With the knee problem, he had the wrist problem. Appears to be over all of that. He's still got that guard on that right wrist. He had the tendonitis. Pop up on the right side, and Gordon drifting out, puts it away for the second out. So 2 out. Kadire still at first. Now Eric Campbell.
Now Campbell's a high ball hitter, so I'm not saying to eschew the high ball altogether. I'm just saying don't swing at that one above the letters. Swing at the high strike, not the one above it.
You know, we mentioned that Connolly is used to seeing predominantly right-hand batters. In his last 5 starts before tonight, he saw a total of 8 plate appearances by left-hand hitters. 8 in 5 starts. And I know we used to talk about this all the time when the Mets had Tom Glavine. Sometimes it's a benefit to a pitcher to see all right-hand hitters because he gets into a groove and nothing breaks up the string. Maybe that's working for Connolly tonight. Campbell smashes one to deep center field. Back goes Yelich onto the warning track to make the catch right in front of the eye in Geico. Side retired. Campbell gave it a ride. Came up a little shy after 5. 2-0 Miami.
Shouldn't it be IE?
Steven Matz and Masahiro Tanaka on Friday night. Noah Syndergaard, Michael Pineda Saturday. Matt Harvey, CC Sabathia Sunday night. D. Gordon leads off in the 6th inning and takes outside. Let's check in with Steve Gelbs, whose report tonight is brought to you by StubHub. Steve?
Gary, with Mark Teixeira out for the season now, rookie Greg Bird becoming a pretty important piece as the Yankees go down the stretch here. And Bird has shown early on to have that clutch gene, as they call it. Has 6 home runs. 5 of them have put the Yankees ahead. And with runners on base, he's hitting .326, 19 RBIs. With no one on base, though, that's where Bird is struggling so far. Just .154, an OPS under 500.
On the other hand, there's Jacoby Ellsbury. As Gordon hits one out to center field, a long way back. Lagares trying to run it down, but it beats him to the warning track and hops over the wall for a ground rule double, and that works in the Mets' favor because Gordon would have easily had 3 bases. He'll have to go back to second. So Gordon, who had a 2-run homer last night, showing off his power again, hitting one 400 feet to center field.
Up fastball, nice level swing by Gordon. He got some pop. Seen more fly balls. I know it's hit a long way. Too many fly balls. It's got to be caught. Play a little deeper.
Well, Gordon extends his record now. 34 hits, the most anybody's ever had in a season against the Mets. And Cologne gives a look as Flores flashed to the bag.
David Wright in at the corner at third base.
So we just mentioned Jacoby Ellsbury, 2nd year of a big money 7-year contract, and he has just been dreadful over the last 2 months. And Steve was referring to the rookie Greg Bird, and you see what he's done better numbers with men on base. And they need him.
Left-hand hitter, of course.
Especially in the series against the Mets with A-Rod unable to play because he just can't play a position. A-Rod's got 32 home runs, and he's going to be a pinch hitter for the 3 games here, as he has been in every National League park the Yankees have gone to this year. By the way, D. Gordon's got the bad socks again tonight. Playing great, but the socks are terrible.
And the bad shoes. Speaking of shoes, oh goodness, Garrett, wait till you hear this one. I'm walking out on the, underneath the stadium, and I always go a certain way out and come down the elevator, going out towards the car in the runway. Ichiro walks by me with the most bizarre tennis shoes I've ever seen. They were orange with rhinestones, spikes on the front above the toes.
Rhinestone.
Oh, it was sparkles. It was like Disco City. Hideous. Oh, no, I didn't tell him. I kept my mouth shut. I just I walked behind him because I wanted to get I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I had to get a closer look at it. Very bizarre.
I wonder if he'll wear those to his Hall of Fame induction. One and two to Christian Yelich, who's grounded out twice. Going to run it back out to Cologne. Bart's trying to get whacked around a little bit. He's given up 5 hits to the last 8 batters, including a pair of homers and a pair of doubles.
There's around 2 years of experience in the major leagues and around 20-something years of experience in Cologne, having a chat out there.
It was mostly Cologne doing the talking. 2-2 to Yelich with Prado on deck. And he struck him out. Cologne with the sinker gets Yelich. That's the first out of the inning. Just his second strikeout of the night.
Came inside.
So Robles to work in the Mets bullpen. With the Mets down 2-0 in the 6th. Cologne is due to lead off in the next half inning. Well, here's Prado, hit one off the facing of the second deck for his 8th home run of the year his last time up. That gave the Marlins their first run. JT Realmuto homered in the 5th for their second run. Meanwhile, the Nationals have gone back in front of the Phillies with 2 runs in the 5th. Washington 4, Philadelphia 2. And Cologne misses low, ball 1. Talking about the Yankees coming in this weekend. Looks like Ivan Nova's not going to start for them anymore. They moved him to the bullpen. Other than Tanaka, they really haven't had a guy who they can rely on. Young Luis Severino looked great for a while, but he got beat up his last start. Grounded toward the hole. Flores on the back end. He's going to go to first base with it. Not in time. He might have had a play at third, but he certainly had none at first. And Prado has a base hit.
I thought he was going to go to third. David did also. He broke back to cover. He was there if Flores opted to throw to third. And he had a chance to get Gordon. He would have had him.
Certainly a better chance than he had throwing to first base.
Well, your focus is on the ball. You're not really a shortstop. David breaking back. He's got him dead as a doornail.
Yep. Even with the speed of Gordon, he would have gotten him with a good throw. That's a play that Ray Ordonez and Edgardo Alfonso used to make all the time. That 6'5" play at third base. And if you're the third baseman, you have to know that your shortstop's capable of that and get back to the bag. And
there's not too many shortstops that can make that throw from that deep in the outfield in the hole.
Now Justin Bour is flied out twice. And he lines one to center field. Gordon goes back to tag. Lagares makes the catch. He heaves it toward the plate, but he hits the cutoff man. The run comes home. Prado has to hold it first, and it's 3-0 Miami. So Bour drives the run with a sacrifice fly, his 57th run batted in.
Well, not wasting any time. I think Bartolo will be happy just to get out of this with one run. Not wasting any time, Bour.
So the Marlins tack another one on and lead 3-0. Now Marcell Ozuna is 1 for 2 tonight. Prado at first and 2 out. Slider's just off the plate, and Colon behind 2-0. Bart hasn't walked a batter tonight. Still hasn't walked a Marlin this year in 6 starts. But he's behind Ozuna 2-0. And he threw an off-speed pitch and got a strike.
Well, they know that Ozuna likes the dead red.
The last time a pitcher finished a season with as many innings as Colon has thrown against the Marlins, facing one team without allowing a walk, it was Christy Mathewson against the Reds in 1914. It's 101 years ago. And with Ozuna going after the high fastball, the high changeup, Colon may finish his season against the Marlins without a walk. He's only about to throw his 70th pitch, but it could be his last of the night. He's due to lead off in the bottom of the inning. Two coming. Jammed him. Foul. How about the Texas Rangers?
They're going for a sweep.
Last night took over first place in the American League West for the first time since the first week of the season, and they've got 6 runs on the board in the first inning tonight against Dallas Keuchel, the American League All-Star starting pitcher. Wow, what a turnaround, and what a potential collapse being executed by those young Astros, who have been in first place for most of the season.
And Texas was not the team that was chasing them most of the year. It was the Angels.
The Rangers were 2 games under 500 when they made the deal for Cole Hamels right before the trading deadline, and they have taken off from there. 10 games over 500 now. They pulled one out in the bottom of the 9th last night to beat Houston to move into first place. They were 8 games behind on August 1st, and they've gone 27-14 since. 7th pitch of the at bat coming to Ozuna, and it just missed inside. Full count. Texas in first place. Houston has fallen back into the 2nd wild card spot, but that's hardly secure. They're only a game and a half in front of Minnesota. So the Astros would look like a postseason lock a month ago. Not looking like that now. Toronto will run 3-2 and 2 out. And Ozuna takes outside, and there it is. Colon's first walk against the Marlins this year. So 2 men aboard with 2 out. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has a game break brought to you by Honda. Well, that's going to be all for Bartolo Colon. Terry Collins making a double switch here. Got JT Realmuto coming up, and even though Colon's only thrown 73 pitches, he is exiting, and Hansel Robles will come on. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. 3-0 Miami in the 6th. We'll be right back. By your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. That's played some good defense behind Bartolo Colon, but not enough. Bart's out of the game. Ruben Tejada takes over at short in the double switch. He'll bat 9th, and Hansel Robles on to pitch.
Well, Robles last time out was on the 14th. And I remember the 2 perfect innings he worked in that Washington series where he struck out 4 in that sweep of Washington.
Comes in to face JT Realmuto, who homered his last time up. 2 on and 2 out. A run home for the Marlins here in the 6th. They lead 3-0. And Robles starts the slider that misses to Realmuto. 1-0. So Colon goes 5 2/3. He allowed 7 hits, 3 runs so far. A walk, 2 strikeouts, 2 home runs, 73 pitches for Colon. Sure, I recall him coming out after just 73 pitches in a start where he did, relatively well.
Well, I think that Terry is managing to win, and I think it was the right move. You got Washington up there. We're winning 4-2. Three innings in a row here, the 4th, 5th, and 6th, where they touched up Bartolo.
Maybe he was watching him walk a batter. That was alarming. He never does that.
Don't want to let this game get away. Still striking distance. Offense has got to get it going.
Adam Conley's held him in check all night. Muto goes after a fastball way out of the strike zone. It's 2-2. Talk about a pitch in your eyes. That was above his eyes.
Yes.
Two out, 2 on, 2-2 to Real Muto. And he got a piece of that. 98 from Robles. No quick pitch with men on base. That would be a balk. Inside, full count. Speaking of balks, Dario Alvarez left the game after balking last night. He went for an MRI earlier today on his injured groin, and the Mets did not have the results back before the game.
He looked pretty wounded last night. And the other side is Carlos Torres is recovering quicker than I thought he would.
Doing a little throwing. He's got a boot that he wears sometimes where he can practice outside the boot. Runners go. 3-2 pitch is outside, and Robles walks his first batter to load the bases. So back-to-back walks, one by Colon, one by Robles, and a big at bat coming up here for Ichiro Suzuki with a chance to break this game open. Ichiro went 0 for 2 against his old nemesis Colon tonight. Prado at third, Ozuna at second, and Real Muto at first with 2 down.
This was not the man that Terry had in mind to come up with a chance to really hurt the Mets.
Robles fires a fastball for a strike. Well, Ichiro Suzuki said, well, that's not right. He had 262 hits, which is his career high, which is a major league record. There's a fastball for a strike, 0-2.
Good location, knees outside corner.
O2 coming, and he just got a piece of that. Robles trying to put away Suzuki. 0-2. And did he go? He went around, strike 3. Onto Robles, strands 3 by striking out Ichiro Suzuki. Marlins settled for just 1 run in that 6th inning. 3-0 Miami. best you could ask for in the middle of September.
Check out Jets blog for an in-depth preview of the Jets Monday night matchup against Andrew Luck and the Colts, with insider info and analysis on the Jets blog, featured on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Home 6th inning, Mets down 3-0. Adam Conley has limited the Mets to 2 hits over the first 5 innings. Ruben Tejada, who came in the double switch in the top of the inning, had a good night at the plate last night. A single, a double, a walk, an RBI. It'll be Tejada, Lagares, and Wright for the Mets against Conley, the rookie left-hander, who fires a strike. Conley has not walked a batter. He struck out 4. He has been very sharp tonight. 25-year-old out of Washington State.
He's just pounding strikes in there, Garrett, throwing fastballs.
And he threw that one right by Tejada, and it's 0-2.
And it's 93, 91, 92. It's not like he's throwing, high 90s. Get upstairs, and the Mets keep chasing that bad one just out of the strike zone.
But David Wright double in the 4th, and Michael Cuddyer single in the 5th, the only 2 Met hits. Here's your People's United Bank starting pitchers. Bartolo Colon out after 5 2/3. Conley looks like he's just getting started. Just his 8th major league start. And Tejada goes down on the slider. Real Muto will have to make the toss, and he does so on target for the first out. 5 strikeouts now for Conley. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Juan Lagares. You know how the Marlins injured starter Henderson Alvarez, when he throws the first pitch of the game, takes that exaggerated first step forward?
Yes.
Conley steps forward, maybe not quite the same way as Alvarez.
Just kind of pivots off the balls of his feet, it seems like, Garrett. Throws on the extreme third base side of the rubber. Just a little square up of the foot. Not much of a stride at all. Very peculiar.
Philadelphia, Jason Worth is at his 2nd home run of the night, and the Nats lead the Phillies 6-2 in the 6th. Hoping to gain ground on the Mets for the 2nd straight night.
Back foot, watch, comes off the rubber almost like Jordan Walden a little bit.
Maybe not the violent leap of Jordan Walden.
Oh boy.
Naras got badly fooled and just got a piece of that.
Got full on that slider badly.
On a hop. Almost knocked over the wicket.
No, this guy throws strikes. I'm telling you, Conley is just pouring it in there, and there's no surprises.
Very successful year at AAA New Orleans this year. 18 starts, 9-3, 2.52.
He likes to pitch up in the zone. Hate that term. Up in the strike zone. And refuse to be contemporary.
We'll drag you kicking and screaming if we have to. 8th pitch to Lagares. And he bloops one behind second base. Out goes Gordon to make the running grab. It took sheer speed, and Gordon has plenty of that. And that's the second out.
Jammed him here inside. Look at Gordon fly. Tracked it right down. Piece of cake.
Nobody else is going to get it.
Good hustle by second base umpire Dan Iasonia.
Tried his best to keep up with Gordon.
A few umps that don't move. They kind of like Darryl out there in right field. They got a little strawberry patch and they just kind of hang around.
Here's David Wright.
Only kidding, Darryl.
He's playing too deep.
He hasn't moved. He used to drive Darryl crazy.
David smacks one up the middle for a base hit. Just the Mets' third hit of the night, and David Wright has 2 of the 3.
Nice hitting, David. He's always hit left-handers. Good rip up the middle.
So now Cespedes, 1 for 9 in this series, and a home run in the first game on Monday night, but held in check after getting drilled last night. Taking all the way, ball 1. One of the things that endeared Cespedes to Terry Collins immediately was that he told him, "Put me in the lineup. Don't worry about me.
And I can play center."
Nubbed right to the first baseman, but it kicks foul, which is fortunate for Cespedes, who never left the batter's box. Well, it's reflected in the at-bat numbers. Yoenis Cespedes now has 584 at-bats, which is the most in the major leagues. So he's in the lineup every day. Of course, those at-bat totals are enhanced by the fact that he doesn't draw a ton of walks. Kyle Barraclough up in the bullpen for the Marlins. Conley runs one inside, 2-1. Uribe waiting on deck. And he has to skip away from that one, and now it's 3-1.
He's got a count here.
This is only the third 3-ball count that Conley has run all night. Behind on Cespedes, 3-1, with Wright at first and 2 out. And Cespedes with the big cut fouls it back. His swings are substantial.
He doesn't get cheated, that is for sure, especially in hitters' counts.
3-2. Struck him out. Got him with a slider. Adam Conley, 6 strikeouts in 6 very impressive innings. We go to the 7th with the Marlins up 3-0.
For the postseason, should Cologne be in the starting rotation? Here are some of your thoughts. Cologne should be in the postseason rotation, the only starter with postseason experience.
That's a point.
He's earned it, if not for his arm, then for his bat. Donovan Solano leading off in the 7th inning against Hansel Robles, who came in to get the final out in the 6th. Some more viewer responses. Why is it even a question, says Michelle. He should not be pitching in the postseason because his good run's been against weak teams. So
okay, that's all.
It's a fair sampling.
Yes, it is.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think a lot's going to happen here in the last 2.5 weeks of this season. I don't think there's a decision made right now. Matz has had 2 starts coming back, and he's labored a little bit.
Solano drives one to left center. Cespedes back in the gap to get it. 1 out. Well, I mean, Matz has only made 4 major league starts. I mean, people forget that, as talented as he is.
Right. So this is a very young pitching staff. There's a lot of young guys in that bullpen too, and there's a lot of questions on the left side, the port side of that bullpen. You know, Nice has got to be considered one of the 4 that could possibly be on the roster. I think the next 2.5 weeks are going to be telling. Right now, Gary, I would be up in the air on a lot of things right now.
Well, there's no reason to decide now.
Correct.
It's an information gathering time for Sandy and Terry and their people. Meanwhile, Adam Conley's taking a turn at bat in the top of the 7th. Conley's never gone beyond 6 innings in his major league career.
He's thrown well. He's thrown strikes.
You notice those starters hang out together.
They do, but they sit all the time. You know, so they got nothing better to do. They're going to watch and toss the ball around a little bit.
Syndergaard and Verrett and Matz and DeGrom and Nice. Conley down on strikes. Second strikeout for Robles. 2 out of the inning. Well, the Mets have a lot of thinking to do, not just in terms of Cologne, but we mentioned it in the open tonight. Some of their younger pitchers have taken a little step backwards over the last month. DeGrom had a rough night last night. Syndergaard took time off and looked great.
Yes, he did.
His first start back. Harvey's only had the 1 start since the controversy, and that didn't go well in Washington. He'll pitch Sunday night. Campbell takes care of the ground ball from Gordon. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Hansel Robles. Pete, anybody? Looks awfully good up close, doesn't it? Could you bring us a slice?
Right before you go for a run. Carbs.
Has 2 of the 3 against Adam Conley, who hasn't walked a batter, struck out 6. Juan Uribe leads off the home 7th and flies one out to left field. Ichiro Suzuki ranging over, and he makes the catch. 1 pitch and 1 out in the home 7th.
Well, this is good old-fashioned hardball pitching here by Conley, not afraid of going after hitters. There's no doubt in any of these starters here on the Mets what he's throwing. He's throwing fastballs.
Well, this is now the deepest Conley has ever gone in a major league start. He had never gone beyond 6. He has thrown as many as 106 pitches. He's at 88 right now. The Marlins are going to keep their bullpen busy just in case he needs help, but hasn't needed much so far. Travis d'Arnaud is 0 for 2, and he takes inside ball 1. Michael Cuddyer on deck, the pitcher spot behind him. And d'Arnaud taking all the way, 1-1.
Well, that's the fastball everybody's been swinging at. Make him get it down.
We're in the 7th now in Philly. Nats 6, Phillies 2. And d'Arnaud flies 1 foul.
They're not picking Conley up well. He's got a little bit of a. Watch his arm when he comes, when his windup, folks. When he comes down below, he's got a little
tuck.
Yeah, a little bit. He's not tucking his wrist. He's just got a funky little elbow working, and I think it's hard to pick him up.
Well, he certainly brings his arm all the way behind his back.
And he's a rusher. He rushes it up there. So rusher in his motion. And I just think the Mets are having a hard time picking him up.
Full count to Travis. Conley hasn't walked a batter tonight. 3-2 coming, and d'Arnaud pops one up.
And that's what he's been doing the whole game, Gare, right there.
Ozuna comes in to get it, 2 out.
Well, mentioning how he's difficult to pick up, let's see. A little hard to tell right there, but you've got everybody chasing that high fastball.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Michael Cuddyer.
He's got 11 fly ball outs, Gary.
Cuddyer has one of the Mets' 3 hits.
Watch his throwing hand, folks. Watch how far it comes back behind on his fanny side. A little bit of a bend in the elbow. And I got to think he's just tough to pick up. He's been befuddling these Met hitters.
0-2 to Cuddyer. Pitcher spot 2 up next. Dilson Herrera has come out on deck to be a pinch hitter. Dilson sporting a new number. He was number 2 earlier this year. Juan Uribe took that. And now he's got Doc Gooden's number.
Yes, he does.
Dyer fouls back the 94-mile-an-hour fastball. I think Conley recognizes this as his last inning.
Yeah, watch his arm here. How far? See how it goes back, way back, and he does a little curl with his wrist. Look at that.
So by the time he gets it around, he's hard to pick up. Prado handles the ground ball, throws out Cuddyer. 7 scoreless innings for Adam Conley. Quite a performance by the youngster from Washington State. 3-0 going to the 8th. Question. We asked who holds the major league record for most consecutive innings with 200 or more innings pitched. It was the great left-hander Warren Spahn, the winningest left-hander of all time.
Steve Carlton couldn't catch Warren.
363 victories. Twice over 300 innings during that span. Played for the Mets late in his career.
The Mets traded him to the Giants.
Tyler Clippard's going to get an inning of work here in the 8th.
Well, Tyler's had a couple days off. Off day tomorrow. It's a little tune-up here. Been giving up the gopher ball of late, but solid bridge to Familia.
Clippard hasn't worked since Saturday in Atlanta. He'll face Christian Yelich leading off in the 8th, and he throws a fastball by him, 0-1. Yelich 0 for 3 tonight. Prado and Bohr to follow. Marlins got solo home runs from Prado and Real Muto, then a sacrifice fly from Bohr. All of that against Bartolo Colon, and Adam Conley has done the rest with 7 scoreless innings. Good off-speed pitch by Clippard, and it's 0-2. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, Bryce Harper's hit his 40th home run of the year. 2-run shot, and it's 8-2 Washington in the 7th.
So I just think, folks, that all this MVP talk, it's just going to have to go to Harper. He's just having such a phenomenal year.
I don't think anybody can really disagree with that.
Batting champ looks like possibility.
That's D. Gordon catches.
Unless Gordon catches him. 40 home runs. That's rarefied air.
22 years old. It's a little scary. If he had more runs batted in, he would have a shot at the Triple Crown, but he's not going to come close there. He was 21 behind Nolan Arenado when the day began.
Well, rarefied air in Denver.
Yeah, but he's had a great year.
How many home runs would he have hit for 81 games in Colorado?
One and 2 to Yelich. A little shallow fly ball to left. Cespedes coming on to slide and make the catch. Yoenis Cespedes hurrying in to take a base hit away from Yelich. 1 out.
Well, he plays both center and left well. Goes back on the ball, excellent. Comes in on the ball, good. He's just a complete player.
Dragging his parakeet sleeve behind him. Or canary. Here's Martin Prado, who put the first run of this game on the board with a tape measure home run in the 4th inning, his 8th of the year. We'll take a moment to send out best wishes to all of our friends at the New York Daily News. It's been a very difficult day there with a whole bunch of layoffs to a lot of very talented people, many of whom we're very close with. And I know this is a tough time for the newspaper industry in general, but these are people who have done great work, and we wish them nothing but the best. Hit hard down to first, and Campbell's got it, and there are 2 out. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has another game break brought to you by Ford. Here's Justin Bohr with 2 out and nobody on. Bohr delivered a sacrifice fly to drive in the 3rd Miami run in the 6th inning.
And the last time these two hooked up, Bohr got the best of Clippard, got that home run in the 8th. That was a tying home run. Or to go ahead.
No, it tied up.
That's right, tied it to. I remember now. Gary, on your next 2 off days, are you going to go up to Fordham and root on your Columbia boys? Going to break that 21-game losing streak up there in Fordham?
I might feel we'll follow that one on the radio. And it's not a 21-game losing streak.
It's not?
No. Maybe at Fordham. Not overall. Columbia has beaten Fordham more recently than that. I know, but because I heard Chris Matchkowski sing the Columbia fight song.
I remember.
I mean, I sing the Fordham fight song, but there was one time, more recently than 21 years ago.
You got Dave all upset giving me false information.
Dave Freed gave you bad info?
Yeah, he passed that along.
You know, that's so weak. What Dave was referring to was the Columbia overall.
That's on a 21 game.
Yeah. Of course, they have a new coach now. Maybe there are good times coming on Morningside Heights.
Boris smashes one to deep right center. Forget that. Headed out toward the bridge. An enormous home run off the bat of Justin Bour, his 17th home run of the year. So he takes Clippard to the bridge again. And it's 4-0 Miami in the 8th. That is a big, very powerful man. And he hit that one real hard.
Fastball. He's a middle in hitter. Two-seamer. And Bour has it measured.
Third home run for the Marlins tonight. Miami started the night second to last in the National League in home runs, but they've certainly had the range tonight. Not only 3 home runs, but 2 of them hit a very long way, one by Prado and now one by Bour. So Clippard's recent home run woes continue. 4 home runs allowed now in his last 6 appearances. Two and 1 to Ozuna.
17 home runs for Bour and 348 at bats.
So he has been the main power source for the Marlins since Giancarlo Stanton went down. They've been without Stanton for almost 3 months now.
That would give them a next year. Let me tell you, a left and right hand bat. 4 and 5 in the order.
Strike 3 called. Ozuna caught looking to end the inning. But the Marlins extend their lead thanks to the long ball bat of Justin Bour. His 17th home run of the year nearly reaches the Shea Bridge. Deep into the Flushing night. 4-0 Marlins going to the bottom of the 8th. Experience 2 jaw-dropping theme parks. Stay on site at Universal's Cabana Bay Beach Resort. Plus, attend the VIP grand opening of Universal's newest dining experience, NBC Sports Grill and Brew. Just go to Facebook.com/SNY for your chance to win. Well, the Mets have been blanked so far tonight by rookie left-hander Adam Conley, but he's done after 7 innings. Miguel Rojas will come into play shortstop, and Mike Dunn, who had a good night last night, will pitch the 8th inning tonight.
1 3-strikeout inning. 1, 2, 3.
Dilson Herrera, the pinch hitter for the Mets. For Herrera, his first appearance since rejoining the team when the rosters expanded. Herrera had 82 at bats earlier this year for the Mets at 195. 21-year-old from Colombia who made his big league debut with the Mets last year after coming over in the trade with the Pirates. Be interesting with all the infielders the Mets currently employ where Herrera will fit in next year. 2 balls and a strike to Dilson. Eric Campbell on deck. Ruben Tejada behind him. Of course, Murphy's a free agent at the end of the year. Uribe and Johnson. Don't know how many, if any, of those guys will be back. A lot of Herrera's future may hinge on what the Mets think of Wilmer Flores, whether they think of him as a shortstop or as a second baseman. Dunn behind 3-1. And Herrera takes ball 4.
Well, that's Dunn. Dunn can look like the second coming one night and then look like Molly Putz on the second.
New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily fantasy partner of the New York Mets. Enter promo code NYM for free entry. So now Eric Campbell with the leadoff man aboard. It's the first time all night the Mets have had their leadoff man on base. Eric Conley was tremendous. Retired the leadoff batter 7 straight innings. Campbell goes after the first pitch.
I was kind of thinking, you know, you're down 4 runs. You got a guy that's out here that's just walked the first batter, Dunn, who can, you know, depending on what day of the week it is, he could be the lights out or wild as a March hare and swings at the first pitch.
That one well out of the strike zone. A ball and a strike. Ruben Tejada batting 9th in the order. He's on deck. And then Juan Lagares behind him. That's staying with all these right-handed bats with a left-handed reliever in the game. They've got a ton of left-handed bats sitting on the bench for when Dan Jennings goes to a right-hander.
There you go.
And Dunn continues to struggle throwing strikes. It's 2-1.
Should be 3-0.
Brian Morris, first right-hander up in the Miami bullpen. He pitched last night. Gave up a couple of runs. 2-1 to Campbell. And he ignores, and it's up and away, and Real Muto is going to run the ball back out to Dunn.
4-run lead.
We've seen plenty of this recently, haven't we? Relief pitchers coming in with leads, unable to throw strikes. Let's have Addison Reed and Eric Goodell both up in the bullpen under the watchful eye of rookie bonus. Dunn behind on Campbell, 3-1. And he hits one out to left. Ichiro has it measured and makes the catch for the first out.
A little bit too quick.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Tejada comes up for the second time. Struck out against Conley in the 6th. Adam Conley, his best start as a big leaguer. 7 scoreless innings, 3 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts, 99 pitches.
Good old fashioned pitching. Conley just going after mid hitters.
Marlins trying to take 2 out of 3 from the Mets for the second time in 2 weeks. Got a couple of walk-off wins in Miami before the Mets went to Washington, and then that's reeled off 7 straight wins in the last 2 stops on that road trip. Now they come home to play the Marlins, and they're in danger of losing 2 out of 3 again.
Threw that one by Ruben.
Mets tonight have the look of a team that could use a day off tomorrow.
Or they need to get a limo and take this team and get them out of town.
Well, it's the last time they'll see the Marlins this year. Mets are 11-7 against Miami this season. Coming into the game, you know about D. Gordon. He's already set a hits record for a season against the Mets. While Lagares has had good numbers against Miami, but not tonight. Herrera at first and 1 out. Dunn ahead on Tejada, 0-2. And he lifts one to shallow right. Easy for Ozuna, 2 down. So 2 out and a runner at first, and now Juan Lagares. Lagares is 0 for 3 tonight. Struck out and popped up twice against Conley.
The best laid plans of mice and men. The Marlins have been tenacious.
Hey, nobody said it was going to be easy.
Correct. And that's why they play the games. This is a team that has always been feisty and has always been a thorn in the Mets' side since the turn of the century.
Well, in 2007 and 2008, it was the Marlins on the final day of the season that thwarted the Mets' postseason hopes each time.
That's right. Last game of the season. Remember the fight that, who was the catcher? That went after
Miguel Oliva.
Miguel Oliva went after Reyes.
Do you remember the 7 runs they scored in the first inning on the last day against Tom Glavine in 07?
Yep.
Remember the home runs they hit against the Mets bullpen the last day in 08?
I do not.
One against Luis Ayala, one against Scott Schoenweiss. There's the Marlins owner, Jeffrey Loria, who's a native New Yorker. He's been spending this series in New York watching his team. Two and 1 to Lagares. By the way, we've often used as a reference point July 25th. That's when the Mets acquired Kelly Johnson and Juan Uribe, and their offense really took off. They added Cespedes less than a week later. Well, since all those trades and the addition of Conforto and everything else, the Mets have not been shut out. The last time they were shut out was July 23rd when Clayton Kershaw beat them 3-0. So there's ball 4 and Lagares is on, so the Mets have 2 aboard for David Wright. So the Mets are trying to extend their string of scoring runs. Mike Dunn has issued them a couple of walks here in the 8th inning.
And you've got a right-hander up here. Yes, that's clearly the move. Dan Jennings coming out to make the move to the bullpen.
So Dunn retires 2, but also walks 2 and gives the Mets an opening in the 8th inning. David Wright will be coming up against the right-hander Brian Morris when we come back. to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com.
Well, big moment here.
Brian Morris, who got touched up for a couple of runs last night, comes on.
He threw an inning of 2 hits, a walk in those 2 runs, threw a lot of breaking balls, and finally got out of the jam by going to his hard sinker.
He walked David Wright last night. David bats here with 2 out and 2 on. Herrera at second, Lagares at first. That's looking to get on the board after being shut out for the first 7 innings by Adam Conley. Wright lays off the slider, ball 1. David's 1 for 6 in his career against Morris.
Outfield playing much deeper, particularly Yelich out in center field.
Cespedes looming on deck. So this is the batter. Brian Morris knows he has to get out. Wright breaks his bat, grounds 1 to Rojas, side retired. So Morris gets a big out for the Marlins. Keeps it a 4-0 game as we go to the 9th at Citi Field. Fan photo of the game brought to you by T-Mobile. And Keith sends in the picture, and that is a real cutie. Thank you.
Yes.
Eric Goodell will pitch the top of the 9th for New York.
And Goodell has done a nice job all season long since coming back on September 1st.
Worked an inning in the 3rd last night. It was he who threw the pitch behind Tom Kohler, seeking retaliation.
Good hook right there. San Mateo native.
JT Realmuto leading off the top of the 9th. He hit the 2nd of the 3 Miami home runs tonight. A towering shot that fell over the fence in right field, his 10th of the year. Ball and a strike to Realmuto. Ichiro Suzuki on deck, and then Miguel Rojas in the top of the 9th. Hit hard. That's through the hole. A base hit for Realmuto, his 2nd hit of the night. So that's how Goodell is greeted.
Rudely.
So now Ichiro Suzuki, who's gone 0 for 3 tonight, 1 for 7 in the series. He remains 68 hits shy of 3,000 for his career. And the Marlins have expressed interest in bringing Ichiro back next year when he'll be 42 to give him a crack at getting to 3,000 hits. Well, it would appear that unless the Mets have a big rally in them in the bottom of the ninth, they're going to lose ground off their lead for the second straight day. Washington is now up 11-2 on Philadelphia in the 8th inning. So the Mets, who sat at 9.5 in front going into last night, could be at 7.5 by the end of the night. Ichiro slices one foul. 1-1. Here are the updated career highs for Ichiro Suzuki, including his record-setting 262 hit season in 2004. He was the Rookie of the Year in 2001. He was the MVP in 2001. There are only 2 men in history who've been Rookie of the Year and MVP the same season. And they got to meet each other for the first time earlier this year.
Double play ball. Uribe takes it to the bag and completes the 4-4-3 double play. 2 out and nobody on. The party of the other part being Fred Lynn, who was Rookie of the Year and MVP with the 75 Red Sox, and he and Ichiro got to meet each other earlier this year.
Fred Lynn, of course, out of Southern California. That magic year for the Red Sox. Lost to the Reds in 7. The tremendous series.
Not only did they have Fred Lynn as a rookie that year,
Jim
they
Rice.
had Jim Rice,
Yep.
who was a rookie the same season. And in any other year probably would have been the Rookie of the Year. Wound up with the Hall of Fame career. Here's Miguel Rojas up for the first time. Came in for defensive purposes. Derek Dietrich has come out on deck to bat for the pitcher if Rojas keeps the inning going. Ripped down the line. That's a fair ball. Hits off the sidewall. Rojas takes the turn. He's not going to challenge Cespedes. It skips on by, but Campbell backs it up. And so Rojas has a 2-out hit.
Oh, inside fastball. He ripped it.
So Rojas aboard with 2 out. Nobody challenges Cespedes' arm. He has certainly proven that he can throw anywhere, anytime. Derek Dietrich, the pinch hitter, started the first 2 games of the series. Went 2 for 7. Batting here for the pitcher, Brian Morris.
Got to pay a little bit of attention to the runner at first. I know that Rojas isn't really a threat to steal, but it's a good time to try it if you get a good jump and you forget about him.
Or if you're invisible. A.J. Ramos getting ready to try and close it out for Miami tonight in what will be a non-save situation. Goodell, the 4th Met pitcher of the night, deals the 1-1, and Dietrich swings over the splitter, and it's 1-2. Coming up tonight, Geico Sports Night after the post game. Jets getting ready for their date with Indy. Coughlin, Belichick, I don't see the connection. And Rutgers, their football situation just gets
what a mess
and worse and worse.
What a mess.
Arrests, suspensions, now their coach is suspended. Still 1-2 to Dietrich. In the National League Central tonight, the Cubs and Pirates concluding their series, and Chicago's up 2-1 in the 8th. Looking to close some ground on the Pirates, who are 4 games in front of them.
St. Louis ahead.
Up 5-4. It was 5-0. They are in the 5th inning in Milwaukee. Cardinals 3 games up on the Pirates starting the night. Curveball from Goodell misses, 2-2. Bartolo Colon went 5 2/3, allowed 3 runs, 7 hits. He's on the hook tonight. Also Robles an inning in the 3rd scoreless, and then Tyler Clippard gave up a home run to Justin Bour in the 8th. Two to Dietrich, and the splitter misses, full count. Boy, Texas just walloping the Astros tonight, 9-0 now in the 6th inning. So the Rangers look like they'll go a game and a half in front of the Astros. 3-2 coming, and Dietrich lays off, ball 4. So Goodell keeps going back to the splitter, and he winds up walking Dietrich, and now 2 men aboard. You got the left-hand hitting Gordon coming up, so Terry Collins will make the pitching change and bring Sean Gilmartin into the game. Two out and 2 on in the top of the 9th. Collins makes a pitching change. We'll be right back to Citi Field. For their Monday night matchup against Andrew Luck and the Colts, plus a preview of this weekend's Mets-Yankees battle in Queens on Loudmouths tomorrow at 5:30 only on SNY. Sean Gilmartin will try and get the final out in the top of the 9th.
Well, this is not where Terry has liked to use him. Gave him 1 shot late in the ball game, and he gave up a couple base hits, protecting a tight lead. And more suited for middle relief. Sorry, Gary.
Gave up 2 runs in the opening game of this series. And he misses high to D. Gordon. Eric Goodell issuing that walk to Dietrich to prolong the inning. And Dan Warthen has a few notes. Gordon is 1 for 4 tonight. He grounds one toward the hole, and that gets through for a base hit. Rojas around third, heading home. Kadyr's throw will go toward third. So D. Gordon has yet another base hit against the Mets. He drives in a run to make it 5-0 Miami. His 35th hit against the Mets this season. That is a mark that may stand for a long time.
Feasting on a very good starting pitching rotation. And hitting both lefties and righties with 2 outs. On your horse at contact.
If you missed it earlier, Curt Flood had the old record for the 63 Cardinals. He had 32 hits in a season against the Mets. Gordon now has 35, the most ever in a season against the Mets in their 54-year history.
Vada Pinson had 31. He was on that list. He was tied for second most. There's a lot of guys at 31. Just can't think off the top of my head.
Well, we'll present it graphically in just a moment to refresh your memory.
Juan Pierre, of course, Clemente 65, Andre Dawson.
But notice how many of those guys were in the early days of the Mets. Pinson and Wills, Clemente and Flood.
Can you imagine Maury Wills on base 31 times?
How many bases do you think he stole? I mean, that was the year he stole 104 bases, 1962.
MVP that year, correct?
One and one to Yelich. Well, he was the guy who brought the stolen base back to the game. You know, Ty Cobb had the record of 96, and the stolen base kind of went away during the 40s and 50s.
And that was the year the Dodgers lost to the Giants in what, they had a 3-game playoff, right?
Much like in 1951. Not quite as dramatic. But the Giants scored 4 runs on a bunch of errors in the top of the 9th in the 3rd game of that playoff to beat out the Dodgers.
It's back in the days, I believe Billy O'Dell was on that team. Marichal was a youngster. Jack Sanford was the ace, if I'm correct.
Of course, the Giants came within a few inches of winning the World Series that year. The Willie McCovey line drive that Bobby Richardson caught. If it's a foot or two either way, the Giants win the World Series rather than the Yankees.
Who made the great play in right center field that cut the ball off? Was it Maris that Mays hit? That would have held Mays either. I can't remember. Someone made a nice play. I think it was Roger Maris, because McCovey hit behind Mays. Mays always hit third. Ralph Terry got the final out, I believe.
Good recompense for him after his 1960 end to the World Series when he gave up the game-winning home run. Base hit for Yelich. Dietrich will come in to score, and the Marlins just tacking on now. They lead at 6-0. So Christian Yelich with a 2-out hit. So the Marlins smacking the Mets around tonight.
They're getting at the bullpen, aren't they? On the move, easy score, Gordon. Forget it. He can just keep that thing in 3rd gear. And he does.
So 4 hits in the inning, 2 runs home for the Marlins. It's now 6-0, and Martin Prado will step in. Prado got this whole thing started for Miami tonight with a long home run in the 4th inning. Both the runs in this inning charged to Eric Goodell. Gilmartin's faced 2 batters, giving up 2 hits. So we've talked a lot the last few days about a lefty who can get lefties out, who might make the postseason roster, and we saw Alvarez struggle and then get hurt last night, and here Gilmartin comes in, gives up 2 hits to left-hand batters.
Gave away the changeup there, got away with it.
Tejada throws out Prado to end the inning, but the Marlins stack a couple more on top and lead at 6-0 as we head to the bottom of the 9th at Citi Field.
by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers on the web at MBUSA.com. By River Spring Health, family of care solutions. Live forward. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit Geico.com for a free rate quote. By Hotel Transylvania 2 in theaters September 25th. And by Hyundai, get in your comfort zone with the most advanced Elantra yet. Visit your Hyundai dealer today. Kyle Barraclough will pitch the bottom of the 9th inning for Miami.
Well, Barraclough threw in the first game. This is the third time we've seen this youngster. Got him from the Cardinals. And he's got a nice arm. Throws hard.
Yoenis Cespedes leads off in the 9th. Second straight 0 for Cespedes coming into this 9th inning at bat. He's gone 0 for 3 today with a couple of strikeouts. Uribe and d'Arnaud to follow, and Cespedes fouls one off. 1-1.
Big cut. We've become used to that. The
Marlins are ready for their 11th shutout of the season. The first 7 innings belonged to Adam Conley. The rookie left-hander was terrific. Allowed no runs, 3 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts. Mike Dunn and Brian Morris combined to get them through the 8th. And now Dan Jennings counting on Barraclough in the 9th. And Cespedes with a half swing fouls it back.
3 Marlin home runs.
Mets have managed just 3 hits tonight. And Cespedes takes outside 2-2. Grounded down to third. Prado's got the hop. 1 out. Since they got swept by the Pirates in the middle of August, the Mets have only lost 2 in a row once. It was to the Red Sox right at the end of August. They're on the verge of losing 2 in a row to the Marlins.
Well, the off day will be welcomed. The Nationals will play tomorrow at home against this Marlin team. And that will even out the amount of games, and we'll see if they go to 7 or they go back to 8.
That's Tanner Roark against Jared Kozar tomorrow in that Miami-Washington game. So the Mets will await their Subway Series with the Yankees. And, well, when we looked at the schedule before the season began, we looked at that September series with the Mets and Yankees. That's lined and caught by Bohr for the second out. And we figured, well, can you imagine if either team is in a pennant race, how big those games will be? Well, as it turns out, those are games that both these teams are going to need. And it is going to be it's going to be fun. Friday night on Pix 11, our coverage begins at 6:30. Saturday on Fox, Sunday night on ESPN, and don't forget WB Mason postgame live follows every game on SNY.
Nice afternoon game on Saturday.
Mets are down to their final out. d'Arnaud the batter. He's 0 for 3. And while they're in the bottom of the 9th in Philadelphia with the Nats up 12-2, so Mets are going to have a 7.5 game lead and a magic number that holds steady for the second straight day at 10. Ball and a strike to d'Arnaud. So the Mets didn't see Jose Fernandez in this series, and they still lose 2 out of 3 for the second time in 2 weeks to the Marlins. The Nats will face Fernandez Friday night. 2-1 to d'Arnaud. But that's the advantage of building a huge cushion. You've got games to play with, and losing 2 in a row isn't the end of the world.
They got to catch you. Pressure's on them. You win, they can't catch you.
Mets are down to their final strike. And d'Arnaud foul tips it. Real Muto holds it. And the Marlins complete a shutout victory. 7 terrific innings by the rookie lefty Adam Conley. The Mets are shut out for the first time since July the 23rd, as the Marlins beat the Mets 2 out of 3 for the second time in 2 weeks with a 6-0 shellacking tonight.
Well, Colon gets the loss, gave up the home run to Prado and Real Muto early, all solo shots. And, you know, he had success in the East. Someone finally beat Bartolo. Came in 13-1 against the East. Mets didn't mount much offense. Tip your hat to this very, very game Marlins squad.
Well, the Mets will hope that the Marlins will continue to play as well when they play the Nats the next 4 days. So the Mets lead will be down to 7.5 in the National League East. And it is now, as the final is in from Philadelphia. The Nats win 12-2. There's your Mets game summary presented by New York Community Bank. 3 Marlins home runs, too much, as the Mets managed just 3 hits and are shut out tonight at Citi Field. Friday night, the Mets and Yankees get together. We'll be on Pix 11. Steven Matz gets the start against Masahiro Tanaka. Our coverage begins Friday night at 6:30. Our next SNY telecast on Monday night when the Braves come to town. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock. Now for Keith Hernandez, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for WB Mason Post Game Live. Let's join Gary Apple and Nelson Figueroa in the studio.